All right, guys, starting a new book. Gaius Julius Caesar. Commentaries on the Gallic War and the Civil War. So a little insight. He writes in third person. I looked it up on Google. He writes in third person. One of his biggest victories was taking over Gaul. Gaul was in a very important port in Italy. Very important. It connected Europe from Asia, I believe. Let's Google it. Um, Importance of Gaul to Caesar. So Gaul was important to Julius for a number of reasons. Gaul provided Caesar with a place to recruit soldiers, allowed Caesar to launch conquests beyond the Rome's northwest frontier. Caesar gained wealth and fame through the provincial legions in Gaul. So Gaul had a bunch of different tribes. They had their own different sects. It was actually a pretty big land. Established him as one of the greatest military commanders. Um, Made him a very powerful man. Was able to return to Rome and become a dictator. I don't like when people just put that on somebody, because we seem to like Julius Caesar, right? Um, is now what country? Well, yeah, Gaul is actually France. Gaul is actually France now. Gaul was an ancient region in Western Europe that was inhabited by the Celtic people. The Romans first described the region, which is also known as Gallia or Gaul. The Gauls lived in an agricultural society divided into tribes landed ruled by a landed class. Roman divided the area of Gaul into four provinces, but Gaul is now France. So Gaul was the territory in and around modern-day France. It extended across the Alps into the Po Valley in northern Italy and ran west along the Mediterranean coast to Pyrenees. The Rhine River formed most of the eastern border, the Atlantic Bay of Biscay, and the English Channel. Yeah, Gaul is now France. So this is the commentary on that. This was a huge victory for Julius Caesar, and this is his writings. So beginning, this is book 1. But the reason why I'm reading it, it's broken down, like maybe just like little journal entries. So War in Gaul, book 1. Again, it's just his kind of like a memoir, you could say. All Gaul is divided into 3 parts, one of which the Baljae inhabit, the Aquitani another, those who in their own language are called Celts, in ours Gauls the third. The Celts, like the Celtics, the Celtics. All these differ from each other in language, custom, and laws. The river Garonne separates the Gauls from the Aquitani. The Marne and the Seine separate them from the Baljae. Remember the Seine River? Of all these, the Baljae are the bravest. Because they are farthest from the civilization and refinement of our province, and merchants least frequently resort to them and import those things which tend to effeminate the mind. So he's saying they're still kind of brutish, they're more primitive. Interesting, right? Because they are farthest from the civilization. They are farthest from the civilization and refinement of our province, and merchants least frequently resort to them and import those things which try or which tend to effeminate the mind, like which tend to make people comfortable. They're still more like they're not as at like they haven't became civilized. They're still brutes. They're still violent in a sense. And they are the nearest to the Germans who dwell beyond the Rhine. The Germanic tribes. They weren't a country yet, I don't think. They're the Germanic tribes, with whom they are continually waging war. So the Baljae and the Germans are German tribes, the Germanic tribes are continually waging war. For which reason the Helvetii also surpassed the rest of the Gauls in valor, the Helvetii, as they contend with the Germans in almost daily battles. When they either repel them from their own territories or themselves wage war on their frontiers. One part of these, which it has been said that the Gauls occupy, takes its beginning at the river of Rhone. It is bounded by the river Garonne, the ocean, and the territories of the Baljae. It borders, too, on the side of the Sequani in the Helvetii upon the river Rhine and stretches towards the north. The Baljae rise from the extreme frontier of Gaul, extend to the lower part of the river Rhine, and look towards the north and the rising sun. Aquitania extends from the river Garonne to the Pyrenean mountains and to that part of the ocean which is near Spain. It looks between the setting of the sun and the North Star. Very insightful.